Hey everybody, welcome to my kitchen and my first video on cooking with the air fryer. I apologize if the audio is a little strange. We're going to start off by using my laptop to record the videos. I'm not doing this live. I don't have the courage to do the first one live just yet. And I have to stop and start because I don't want you to sit through the entire cooking process on some of this stuff and be bored, and then I have to entertain you. We're going to do this one in stages, pre-recorded. But we're going to start with the air fryer. I'm going to show you the air fryer, show you a little bit of my meal prep Sunday. Not prepping as much today as I normally would, working from home, I think, again this week because of this goofy coronavirus thing. So I don't need to meal prep as much for the week. But I want to show you a couple things. One, the air fryer. This is my air fryer. Of course, purchased from my favorite shopping channel in the world, QVC. But we won't get into that right now. But this is my air fryer. Basically, an air fryer is a countertop appliance for your kitchen. It is like a countertop convection oven. There is a heating element inside, there's a fan on top and a heating element underneath it. And the fan spins, blowing the hot air down on the food, and that is what cooks the food. You can fry foods without oils, butters, those kind of things, making it a little healthier. You do French fries, anything you can deep fry. Basically, they say anything that you can cook on the stove besides soup, you can make in the air fryer. Air fryer, just most of them are the same. Has a drawer on the inside with a removable basket. Food cooks in the basket. Some have doors that fold down. I guess it looks like a little oven or a toaster oven or something like that. If you don't have an air fryer, even though I'm going to be cooking a lot of things that you can make in the oven, obviously, or on top of the stove, I highly, highly recommend you investing $49, $59, $69 for an air fryer. QVC has these now for, I think, $59. This is a 5.3 quart. I recommend if you're going to buy one, buy the larger one. Don't buy the smaller one. You'll see you can get about 4 or 5 pieces of chicken in here, which is pretty good. The smaller ones, you're going to get 1 or 2. When you want to cook in batches, you need to have larger capacity. I always say go bigger. So if you're thinking about one, like I said, they're only $49, $59, $69. I think the one that QVC has right now, it's very much like this model, is $59, $60. In fact, I love air fryers so much. I just purchased my 3rd one Thursday. I know, might be a little crazy, but so this is the air fryer. Countertop unit uses like a countertop convection oven. What I'm going to do is go ahead and preheat the air fryer. I always recommend that. I think the instructions tell you to preheat your air fryer also. They say preheat it, heat it for 3 to 5 minutes. I always do it for 10 just because I like it. I like the basket to be good and hot. The air fryer has presets on the front of it, which I'm not going to show up close here, but there's for steak, fish, chicken, vegetables, potato chips, bacon. Then you can adjust your French fries. You can adjust your times and temperatures. I always just put it in, I think the highest temperature on mine is 400. So I'm going to start preheating mine at 400 for right now just to get it good and hot. What we're going to make, I'm not in the camera. What we're going to make today that I'm going to prep for the week, boneless, skinless chicken breast and boneless center cut pork chops. And here's what we have. This is just a sample. I've already prepared some of this to show you ahead of time, but this is what we're going to do. The first thing here, let me tell you the things you're going to need. I guess that would help. A Ziploc baggie or 2. 1 for the chicken, 1 for the pork chops. We're going to use the baggie to season these. I'll show you that in a moment. The seasonings I'm going to use. These are my staple seasonings. I mentioned yesterday in the video that I did that I substituted a seasoning for salt. I don't use any salt anymore. I don't know where I stumbled across this. I have no clue now where I saw this. But someone said on the internet or somewhere to use, or maybe one of my doctors said to use onion powder in place of salt. You don't really get that onion taste, but it gives you the taste, I guess, of salt. You know, how else you want to say that? And you're not using sodium. Because of my heart problem, I'm trying to cut out sodium completely. So I'm using onion powder in place of it. Nobody notices the difference. Everybody says it's seasoned well. Nobody says it's over oniony flavor. I really like it. Onion powder. Don't use onion salts, garlic salts. Don't use the salt, the sodium. They're salt. Powder is the best. It's more concentrated as well. You're going to get more flavor. You don't have to use as much. So onion powder. I use that in place of salt. Garlic powder, the next one. I use a lot of garlic powder. I use a lot of garlic. I like garlic. I like the flavor. And it flavors things great. Garlic powder, my next. Mrs. Dash. When I'm going to do a crust on things, I'm not really doing breadings and things like that. I'll put a little bit of extra Mrs. Dash on it. It's a coarser granules, coarser seasoning. It also has onion powder, garlic powder. I forget what all was in here. Black pepper, dried carrots, parsley, tomato powder, celery seed. It's got multiple seasonings in it already. I use the salt-free. Again, no sodium. There's no sodium in this. The original Mrs. Dash. And the last thing I use, I just started using this one day because I had it in the cabinet. I wanted to get rid of it, really. Is chili powder. I use that on a lot of everything. I'm using all 4 of these. Chili powder. Don't be afraid to use this. It's not going to be spicy. A light dusting on whatever you're cooking gives it sort of a sweet, smoky taste, I guess. It's not hot. Just go light on it. Just a little dash. Try it. That's all I can say. Try it. So those are the 4 seasonings. We're going to put those away for a moment. And I'll show you how I prepare the meat, starting with chicken breast. So get my chicken cutting board out. Get my super duper knife out. You know, we're talking business when you get this knife out. So the chicken breast I get are too big. I probably am going to eat this whole chicken breast, but I want to butterfly it, cut it in half, basically. So the first thing I do, get out on my cutting board and trim off all of the excess fat. You do not need this fat on here. I don't know why the butchers don't do this for you already. They leave just enough to be irritating, I think. But I trim off as much. This one's not too bad. What I should say, too, is I pat these dry first with a paper towel when I unpackage them. Also, another tip, I defrost them in the refrigerator. But I like them to be a little frozen still inside. First of all, I think it's easier to cut. And secondly, when you're cooking them, the frozen juices inside the meat, when it's cooking and they heat up, they cook on the inside of the meat. I think it keeps the meat moister. Is the word moister? Yeah, more moist out of it. I know all you people that think I'm so great at grammar. Okay, I don't know the right moist to use, but so I think it helps cook the meat, keep it juicy. So we're going to butterfly this. So I'm just basically cutting it in half with a good sharp knife to get 2 pieces of chicken breast. I did that to this piece already. It's good to go. Now, take our baggie. And we'll put our chicken breast down in. All 4 in. Miscellaneous pieces came off. That's okay. Earlier. All right. Swap out this. Wash our hands. Everybody's washing their hands 39,000 times a day now. All of the coronavirus craziness going around. And I'm not going to sing happy birthday twice while I do that. We should be good to go. Okay. But pull out my other cutting board and just trim up. Sorry, grab my other knife. You know, I try to be organized, and I'm not organized. I'm scatterbrained in life, and I'm scatterbrained in the kitchen too. But we're going to trim off the excess fat on these pork chops also. We don't need that. There's no reason for leaving the fat on there. Here, again, good sharp knives are a must. Now, I'm doing 6 chicken breasts today that I've cut in half, so I'm getting 12 pieces of chicken. And I'm doing, for right now, 4 boneless pork chops. Later in the week, I'm going to make fish. Not really much prep to that. I'll be using the chicken for salads, chicken and some veggies. Normally on these prep days, I would be steaming, roasting some vegetables too. I'm not doing that today because I'm doing more frozen vegetables for the week. I will show you those later. Really simple. This is all about keeping it simple too. I don't like to spend a lot of time prepping and cooking, preparing. Um, so the vegetables are just frozen broccoli. I think I buy the Normandy blend from Bird's Eye. Get them at Walmart in a frozen bag. Just steam them in the microwave. I'll show you that later. So we got the pork chops ready. We got the chicken ready. Now, the chicken. Some people have issues with the seasoning sticking. I don't really seem to have a problem with that. If you're making chicken tenders or something like that, you might want to do this a little differently. You can spritz the meat with a little bit of oil. Maybe you want to use oil. You're not trying to be as strict as I am. No problem. You might want to spritz it with a little bit of oil before putting the seasoning on to help it stick. I don't have a problem with that. You can also do what's called an egg whitewash, a diluted egg whitewash. That's kind of hard to say this morning. 1 egg white, beat up, put a little bit of water in it, dilute it down, put it over top of your chicken. You want to let as much of that egg wash drip off as possible. You just want a very, very light coating just to wet it down enough, just to get the seasonings to stick. I can show you that later too, in maybe another video, but just a tip. So let's start with my onion powder. I don't measure anything. I'm all. I couldn't tell you. Just don't overdo it. But with a little bit of onion powder, again, I use that as my salt. Garlic powder. Air fryer preheating away. My Mrs. Dash. Wrong side. Again, I use the Mrs. Dash just to kind of get a crust. And the chili powder. Again, just a little bit. It's just that little bit of something extra. You ever see recipes that ask for, like you wouldn't think of putting nutmeg in something, and it's that secret ingredient that adds a totally different flavor to it. So, Ziploc bag, I pull it up on the corners, get a little bit of air in there, and close it shut. You might want to do this over the sink. I don't always trust the Ziploc bag seal, but we're basically just going to toss it almost like you're shaking it. Toss it around, toss it around. Around each other. Seasoning. I'll put it around the chicken. It'll stick. You'll see it sticking. I don't know if it's really picking up here, but my bag is pretty much clear. It's sticking to the chicken. Now, that's good. Need to overdo it. I'll toss it around. We would do the same with the pork chops, except I don't want to waste another bag for the 2 pork chops. So, we'll just season them up right here. This is another thing you can do too if you don't want to use the Ziploc bag. That's just easier for me when I'm doing things in bulk. Dash. A little bit of chili powder. Air fryer's ready to go. I'm going to keep it running a little bit longer just to keep it hot. Do the other side of those in a moment. You see, I'm back and forth all the time. Okay, to get the seasoning to stick to, if I had more time today, I just want to get stuff done. So I would put this back in the refrigerator. 20 minutes, 30 minutes, you can stick it in the freezer for 10, 15 minutes. That also helps the seasoning stick a little bit more if you're worried about it coming off in the air fryer. Or even if you were making these in the oven. And again, if you were going to do that egg wash or the oil on it, I would take the pieces out of a baggie. I would put them on a tray lined with parchment paper or on a wire rack. Put those back in the refrigerator 30 minutes or so, 20, 30 minutes, or freezer for 15 minutes. That egg wash, that oil, even the juice, natural juices from whatever meat you're seasoning, when it goes back into the refrigerator, it sort of acts like a glue and will hold the seasoning on. So if you're worried about the seasonings coming off, you can try that trick. And if you have questions about that, just let me know. I can tell you more about that. All right, chicken's ready. I'm going to stick it in the air fryer. Air fryer basket is really hot right now. What you want to hear, I know I should probably use tongs for this or something, but yeah, fingers before forks is what they used to teach me or tell me when I was little. We're going to put the chicken pieces in. I don't know if you can hear that, but they're starting to sizzle already. My air fryer has a hot spot. It's hotter in the back than in the front. So I tend to stick the thicker pieces of the chicken toward the back. And you can see that, I don't know if you can really see that. We probably have a glare, but the seasonings, we'll go in close. And I'm dropping it on the counter. Seasonings are pretty well stuck to the chicken. So arrange those. And I'll show you what it looks like in the air fryer basket. We're going to stick these in. My chicken setting is, where is my chicken setting? 360 degrees for 20 minutes. That's perfect for mine. Sometimes if they're a little thicker, I have to add a few more minutes. You'll be able to tell. Chicken, you want to cook to 165 degrees. So if you're using a thermometer, you can hook the thermometer in the chicken to get the temperature around 18 minutes or so to see how it's coming along. But my air fryer, I've tested out many times. 20 minutes on 360 degrees is perfect. It's 165 degrees. 165 degrees for the chicken. The pork chops, I use the same setting. The chicken setting, 20 minutes at 360 degrees. They're perfect. Wash my hands. Touching the chicken. Now we're going to go back to these pork chops. I just want to finish seasoning them up. And hopefully as I do these videos, I'll get a little bit better. This is how I cook. I'm back and forth. This is how I operate every day. I'm everywhere. The seasoning, if you're not going to put it in a baggie, I just kind of like to pat it down a little bit. You can tenderize your meat too. Just jab it with a fork. If you have a fancy meat tenderizer, you can do that. Turning these over, give them another spritzing. Onion powder first. I always start with the onion powder because that's my salt substitute. My garlic powder. My Mrs. Dash. And my chili powder. And when the chicken's done, we can throw the pork chops in. Now, meal prep. Like I said, this is as simple as I keep it. I use the same seasonings. Mix it up, though, if you want. I mean, if you want to meal prep steaks ahead of time, Montreal seasoning is something I use a lot also. My seasonings are all up here. You can do salt and pepper if you want to. If you have no problem, salt substitute and pepper. These just give, for me, a great flavor on everything that I'm cooking. I'll do my fish the same way on Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm going to do salmon in the air fryer. I do basically do the same thing. I will spritz it with a little bit of olive oil, lemon juice, and I sometimes use Old Bay seasoning, but for the most part, I'll just do the onion powder, the garlic powder, the chili powder, and Mrs. Dash sometimes not. If I want a crust on it, I'll do Mrs. Dash. I'm not going to sit by and just wait for this to cook. It'll be done here shortly. We'll turn it in about 7 minutes. We'll turn it over. Cook the other side. You always want to rotate half your meat or anything you're cooking halfway through. But I want to show you what they look like when it's done. Always rest your meat after you cook it, 3 to 5 minutes. But when it's done, it comes out. This is what I prepared earlier. So there's our chicken. And going light on the pork chops this week. I have lots of chicken because I can do a lot with the chicken. I will show you a recipe for chicken parm with spaghetti squash that I make in the air fryer. I haven't done spaghetti squash in the air fryer yet. I still make it in the oven. But what I'll do with this prepared chicken is basically just heat up the air fryer. You can do it a couple different ways. Take your favorite sauce, homemade sauce, whatever, spoon a little bit of sauce on. Put some low-fat mozzarella cheese, no-fat mozzarella cheese. Put it in your air fryer. 5-6 minutes, something like that. Enough to heat up the chicken, heat up the sauce, melt the cheese. You have a chicken parm, and we'll serve a healthy chicken parm. And we'll serve over top of spaghetti squash. I've also done it. I really like this. Slice up good beefsteak tomatoes. Beefsteak are some of my favorites. Beefsteak tomato slices, fairly thick. Lay those on top, 2 slices. Put some cheese over top of that. A little bit of onion powder and pepper on top of the tomato. Melt the cheese, stick it in the air fryer. Get the tomato kind of blistered and warmed up. Melt the cheese. That's really good too. And here are the pork chops. Just 2 of them that I made so far. But look how golden brown they are. The seasonings on it, they smell. I'll stick my nose in there, but they smell amazing. So there's the pork chops. I want to show you this chicken. I'm going to cut this chicken with a butter knife, a plastic butter knife, just to show you how incredibly tender and juicy it comes out in the air fryer. Now, I hope the camera's picking this up. And just a butter knife, a plastic butter knife in the middle of this chicken. Of course, if I held it down a little bit better, but that just cut like butter right through that chicken. The camera's not going to pick this up, but you'll see it when you make yours. It is just perfectly cooked. It's juicy. It smells amazing. It tastes so good. I will never, never, never make chicken in the oven again. I dry it out all the time. Even when I make it in the skillet, I dry it out all the time. This is perfect. And that's pretty much it. I mean, that was simple. This takes 20 minutes for the chicken, 20 minutes for the pork chops. Usually takes me 2 batches, which is why I got another air fryer so I can do this all at once. But that is as simple as it is for me on my meal prep Sundays. Whatever. Sometimes I do turkey burgers. Again, just get everything prepared, throw it in the air fryer. I forget the settings for the turkey burgers. I'll have to look it up. I know I have notes on that. But I'll make turkey burgers for you one day too, because I have a secret to keeping them juicy. Turkey always dries out. I wanted to go over the air fryer. I think you should get one. We have all these other kitchen appliances. Try an air fryer. Don't be afraid of it. Play with yours a little bit, though. They're all different. The settings are all different. But I'm used to mine now. My settings are pretty accurate. And again, QVC has them. QVC, if you want to check them out. But chicken, pork chops are some staples that I do. We don't do steak a lot. We will do steak every now and then. Usually when I do steak, I will make it the day we're going to eat it, just get it right off of the air fryer or the grill. I don't meal prep steak that much. But chicken, pork chops, the fish, again, fish takes no time at all, so I don't really meal prep that. But again, my seasonings, my go-to. Onion powder in place of salt. Garlic powder, always the powders. No, don't use salts. Onion powder, garlic powder, chili powder, and Mrs. Dash. Those are my go-tos. So I know this was quick, but that's pretty much it. Like I said, on meal prep Sundays, I would normally do vegetables. I'll tell you about those real quick, even though I'm not doing them today. I take a cookie sheet, a sheet pan, line it with parchment paper, easy cleanup. Take a great big bowl, chop up your fresh vegetables, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, cauliflower, carrots, zucchinis, sweet potatoes, garlic, shallot, onions. That's pretty much what I do. Asparagus. I've done asparagus with it. Cut those all up into uniform pieces. Potatoes. You could do white potatoes also. I'm usually not eating white potatoes anymore, but you could do white potatoes. Season them. Again, same seasoning. Onion powder, garlic powder, chili powder, and Mrs. Dash. Go light with them. You just want a little coating on them. Spritz them first, though, with olive oil. A little bit of olive oil. Just a little bit of a coating. Help it to stick. Toss that up really good. You can squeeze a little bit of lemon juice on top of those too. Stir that up really good. Lay them out on your sheet pan in a single layer. You don't want them overlapping. A hot oven, 450 degrees. I would cook them 450 degrees, 30 to 45 minutes. It may take a little bit longer. My suggestion, though, is the harder vegetables that you know are going to take longer to cook. Broccoli with the broccoli stems, cauliflower with the cauliflower stems, carrots, potatoes, sweet potatoes, not the sweet potatoes so much, but those other vegetables take longer to cook. Put them in first. Let them go for a little bit, and then add the softer vegetables, the sweet potatoes, the onions, those kind of things. Add those in, the asparagus. Add those in a little bit later in the cooking, or you'll overcook. You'll overcook the softer vegetables. They'll turn to mush. Um, like I said, 450 degrees, 35, 45, 50-ish minutes. Just check them. Keep checking them with a fork. Um, Turn them, I'm sorry, halfway through. You also want to turn them halfway through so they cook evenly on both sides. I'll make a great big bowl of those, put those in the refrigerator, have them all week. They're so good. Roasted vegetables are absolutely amazing. You don't like vegetables, try that. They're absolutely amazing. They get a sweetness like you wouldn't believe. Um, they are so good. They will become so addicting. You'll be in there in the refrigerator eating them cold. Trust me, they are really, really good. I know if you're like vegetables. They are really, really good. Um, that's about it. That's just what I wanted to show you quickly. How simple this is. Where are we at with our air fryer? Okay, chicken is halfway done. So here's what we look like so far. A little bit white, it's cooking. Seasonings are getting brown. I'm going to turn them. I will just use this fork. I'm not going to eat right now. We cut that good chicken. We're all right. So I'm going to turn these. And again, normally I would use tongs, but plastic fork works good too. Less to clean up. All right. You can see the other side, a little bit browner, and they're sizzling. We'll throw these back in. It will only take the other 10 minutes, and they'll be done. That's my meal prep. About an hour a day. 40, 50 minutes. Prep it a little bit. The seasonings are so good. I think you're going to like them. So just give it a try. This has been my staple ever since starting this diet. I know I eat a lot of the same things throughout the week. Now, we'll talk about this more later. I do want to get into that a little bit more later, but I do eat a lot of the same things every day throughout the week. Weekends, I veer off a little bit more now, especially since I've pretty much lost all the weight that I want to lose. I do have a little bit more to lose, but I do venture into other things on the weekend. If you want that slice of pizza on Saturday or 2 slices even, it's okay. During the week, I eat pretty much the same thing. Veggies, good proteins. Cottage cheese is another staple. I'll show you what I do with some of this chicken. Where I started making some of these things too, just I'll tell you about that, is when you go to the frozen food section, you get the lean cuisine dinners or the popular, I can't think of the brand name now, but they come in a bowl. You get vegetables, you get a sauce, you get rice, you get protein. That's basically what I make through the week, and I'm making it way healthier because I'm cutting out all the extra salt. I could make brown rice or even white rice, mix it in with the roasted vegetables. I don't really do rice just yet. It's just my own thing. I do a strange thing, which I can show you. It tastes really good, though. Heating, heating my vegetables and does. Excuse me. Yeah, all choked up about it. Heating my vegetables and putting a little bit of cottage cheese, a serving of cottage cheese in. The cottage cheese melts down into the vegetables. It gives you that. It's just really good. It makes you feel like you're being bad with cheese and veggies, and you're not. It's cottage cheese. It's great protein. And then I'll cut up the chicken, put that in, stir that all around, make my own little, almost like a microwave dinner bowl, and they're so healthy and they're really, really good. I will do that a lot. But the meal prep is a huge thing. Meal prep is a huge thing. Sunday, get it out of the way. Take an hour, prep the stuff, even if you're going to do it on the stove, on the grill, in the air fryer. Do it. You have the food ready then for the week. So you're not scrambling. You're not tempted to run out to a fast food place. The food is ready. Good food, good healthy food for you. It's a huge difference in dieting. And I know I'm going to focus a lot now on dieting, and when you have a significant amount of weight to lose, which I did, um, I'm a true believer that you have to be very strict until you get the weight off, and then you have to learn to adjust. Um, and I don't believe you can cheat while you're on a diet. But we're learning now. I'm learning now to get into a regular, normal lifestyle and just maintain rather than lose. But I'm going to focus a lot on what I did to lose. So I hope this video was somewhat helpful. Again, I'm all over the place. I'm sorry if the audio is crazy. I'm still trying to figure out iPhone versus using my laptop. I hope you were able to see some of the stuff. I hope you just got a quick glimpse into how easy this really is. I don't want to make it long and drawn out. It's as simple as this: trim off the fat, get the meat out, trim up the fat, throw some seasonings on it, and throw it in the air fryer. Have it prepared all week. It will keep. This chicken will keep 3 to 4 days. Pork chops the same way. I'll mix the chicken up in salads, mix the pork chops up in salads. I'll have salmon and veggies. Those are some of the staples for the week. So this video is 31 minutes long. I hope I didn't ramble too much. I hope I made some kind of sense. And I just wanted to throw a quick one out there for you for my Sunday meal prep. I hope it helped. And if you have any questions, just let me know. I'll answer anything you want to know. And if you give my video a thumbs up, that would be great. If you want to share it, that would be awesome. And let's just see where we can go with this. If I need to slow down, if you have any tips for me as far as broadcasting this or doing these videos, please let me know. I want to do this for you guys. It helps me. I hope it helps you guys. That's really what I'm aiming for here, is that it helps you guys too. And a firm believer, if I can do it, you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. I know people say that all the time, but it's true. If I can do it, you can do it. So I hope you have a good day. Have a great Sunday. Stay safe. Take care of yourselves. And let me know any questions you have. Let me know anything else you want me to show you. Anything you want to know, any questions you have. I'm going to try to venture into videos to get how to get started. I'm going to talk about calories in a couple days, talk about how I jump-started my diet. I will get into that, but doing meal prep today, just wanted to give you a quick glimpse, and I hope you stuck in for 32 minutes. Try to keep these about 20 minutes or so I'm sorry if I'm long-winded, but you guys take care. Thanks for watching these, and I'll try to get better at them as we go. But thank you guys very much. Have a good one.